Hey everyone, I'm going to take a look at the Premier League pack that's been added to eFootball on Thursday. I've already reviewed the Spanish League pack. That video's live on the channel if you want to check that one out. I'm also going to do the Inter Milan pack review. That'll either be Monday or possibly later in the week, but I'll get it on as soon as I can as well. For this one, as always, I would timestamps in the description for every player. So if you want to hear about particular players, click in the description and there'll be a link that will take you straight to them. So all 5 stars, and as always, we'll start with the lowest rated. So we will start with Lewis Cook from Bournemouth. So Lewis Cook is an orchestrator. I have a feeling he used to be a box-to-box. I might be wrong on that, but he's an orchestrator. Centre midfielder, he's got a DMF as well. Standard form. Well, I've got skill-wise. So we've got some of the most important ones on a centre mid. One touch pass, through passing, weighted passing, load ofted as well. Nice. Fighting spirit, but we need interception. Interception's a big miss. If you're going to play him as a DMF, you need interception and probably one or two more defensive skills. Maybe he's man marking and blocker as well. But whichever position you're playing him in, interception, very important. But in terms of the attributes, let's jump over to eFootball Hub. And before I forget, he does have a face scan as well. It's quite a good face scan, actually. Don't know when he got that. But yeah, let's jump over to eFootball Hub. We'll see how good this Lewis Cook card is there as eFootball Hub. There we go. So, yeah, it's the first time I've had a feature version of him. First special Lewis Cook card we've had in the game. And he's all right. He's not amazing, but he's decent. As you can see, he's got the passing skills and he's got the passing attributes. So he's going to have some very nice passing. Decent on the ball. Attacking wise is horrible. Defensively, he's pretty sound. It's going to come down to what kind of role you give him, what kind of midfield, what kind of midfield setup you use. If he's in a kind of double pivot, I think this kind of build is pretty decent, kind of well-rounded. The attacking wise is horrible, but in a DMF, as a DMF, that's not so important. Physical contact is one thing you could do, definitely boosting a bit. So I would look at maybe nicking a couple of passing. Maybe just shove them onto aerial. His stamina's not brilliant as well. It's not bad, but I'd like it to be a bit higher. You need 3 points to get it up to the 90 mark, though, so I'm not sure where I'd want to take the points away. Let's get it up to that mark. You can nick a couple off dribbling, maybe. Take one back from aerial. Not sure if you consider that worth it. For me, I'm not sure. I'm 50-50. It'd be nice to get his attacking awareness up a bit as well, but yeah, I think it's going to be one of these cards where he's pretty decent in a lot of areas. You're just going to end up with one or two attributes that are a little bit lower than you'd like them to be, because he's not a highest rated card, obviously, but he's certainly a decent one. Like I say, in some kind of double pivot as a deep line playmaker. Obviously, he's got the orchestrated playing style, so I won't be making too many attacking runs. As a DMF in some kind of double pivot, I think it could be neat. The physical contact is a bit low, but otherwise pretty decent. As more of an all-rounder as a centre mid. I think the attacking awareness lets him down a bit, but apart from that, he's pretty sound. I think it just really comes down to the skills. You just need to give him interception, really. That's a very important skill. You might want to give him one or two more defensive ones, especially as a DMF. I don't know if you can make him a real out-and-out defensive bid and just focus on the defending. What do auto allocation tell us? That kind of works, actually. So it's really just shuffled a few points from his on the ball, I think, more than anything onto his defensives there. So yeah, if you wanted to have a lot of defensive responsibility in your midfield, maybe that could be a better build for you. Again, he's not got a great deal of physical strength there. The physical contact is a bit low. Better defensively there though. Not as good in the ball, but he's still okay for a DMF. I think, and the passing's decent with the passing skills he's got to back those passing attributes up. The stamina, yeah, I'd like it to be a bit higher, but it's not low. It's okay. Yeah, on the whole, he's a kind of fairly decent, well-rounded centre mid or defensive mid. But like I say, you've got the physical contact and the attacking awareness, the two attributes there that are really quite hard to kind of get out to the level you want them to be without really sacrificing in other areas. So it's not a bad card at all, but it's not a brilliant one. It's the lowest rated in the pack. So like I said, with the Spanish League pack, we started off with a Van der Beek and he was the lowest rated, but he was quite decent. And this is a reasonably decent card as well. So this is the worst in the pack. It's not a bad start. It's not a bad card at all. I think a fair few people, obviously Bournemouth fans, I think will be delighted if they get this card. But yeah, and maybe Leeds fans used to play for Leeds, but yeah, in general, could be usable, could be a decent option for the English League Challenge. But yeah, it's not an amazing card. It's just a kind of solid one where you got one or two slight weaknesses there, and he needs one or two skills, but he's got some qualities, and he might not be a bad one to have as a midfield option. And I've done exactly what I did with half the players in the Spanish pack. I forgot to compare him to his GP card. So not a lot to say really in terms of the boost from his GP card. It's a pretty mixed boost. Most of his attributes are up by 2 or 3, up to maybe 4 or 5. I think a few up to 6 even. Defensive engagement I think is up by about 6. And it's a pretty good boost on the whole, to be honest. From his GP card, it's a good version of him. They have given a quite a boost, so it's an upgrade from his GP card. And there's nothing that really stands out in terms of what they boosted. Obviously, like I say, engagement's the biggest boost with, I think, 6 points. But there's loads of attributes that are up by 3, 4, 5. So yeah, pretty decent boost on the whole compared to his GP card. And like I say, it's not an amazing card, but it could be a decent, a usable midfield option for a lot of people. And next we have another former Leeds player. So we've got Georginio Rutter from Brighton. We have a deep lying forward, centre forward. There's been quite a few deep lying forwards lately, it seems. Can play SS as well. He does have a face scan, which is a relief because his fake face was absolutely terrible before. What skills have we got in this guy? So we got a few skill moves. Soul control is a nice one to have. Long range curler. First time shot, one touch pass. Would be nice if we had through passing. And he's a super sub. That's a good one to have. He's a lefty. Let's jump over to eFootball. Let's see how good this Rutter card is. So we've had a Player of the Week card of Rutter, which wasn't too long ago. That was an attacking midfield card. So he had a centre forward and SS on his Player of the Week card. He also had attacking midfield, and his playing style was whole player. And right off the bat, having an extra position and having the whole player playing style, I think a lot of people would think that already sounds better than this card. And if you look at the attributes, it is better as well. So yeah, if you've got that Player of the Week version of Rutter, you've got a better card. But yeah, this isn't a bad one. If we train him up, get him all maxed out, he's not too bad. He's not amazing either. He's kind of I don't know, it's one of these cards where he could do a job for you, but there's nothing really standing out. There's nothing particularly amazing looking about him. That Player of the Week card is the only other version we've had of him. Comparing him to his GP card, most of his, well, maybe not most, a lot of his attributes are up by about 3. Some haven't really been boosted much. But on the ball is where he's had the biggest boost. These three on the ball attributes are up by 7 for ball control, 6 for dribbling, and 11 for tight possession. So they've made him miles better on the ball, and that's a good boost to boost his ability on the ball, technical ability on the ball, on a deep line forward, because he will be dipping into a bit deep, getting involved in the build up. That is a good area to boost him, and that boosted him quite a lot. But like I say, they're on the whole. Yes, a bunch of attributes up by about 3 or so, but you're comparing to his GP card, it's really just the on-the-ball attributes. Apart from that, not a lot else has really changed that much. But like I say, though, those on-the-ball attributes, even if it's only those 3 being boosted, it is significant. That's a real difference maker. So it comes down to the playing style. If you like the deep line forward playing style, this could be a useful one for you. It's a question of whether he's got the attributes and the skills to match up to it. But a lot of people don't really like the playing style. I'm not a big fan myself. But in terms of how well he matches that playing style, in terms of the profile he's got, the balancing of his attributes, the passing is a concern for me. He's got one-touch pass, but he doesn't have through passing. And all fully boosted up here. Low pass, only 72, is not great. But as you can see on the left, though, they've not put any points on passing. So the question would be, can you afford to scrimp some points from elsewhere and get that passing a bit higher? Because you need better passing on a player who's going to dip into the, as a deep line forward, getting involved in the build-up. Problem is, there's not really a lot elsewhere in terms of points you can spare. I mean, the most points have been spent on dexterity. Attacking awareness is important on a striker, but he's a deep line forward, so you could say you could get away with that, nick a few points there. That gives us 9 points. If you shove all that straight on passing and get up to the high 70s at least, there's not a lot else you can do with this guy. He's got heading, so you might not want to take anything off physical. If you put a lot of crosses in, you might like the fact he's got a little bit of physical and aerial ability. Otherwise, you could take those points away, get his passing up to 80, and then just leave 1 on aerial maybe. That might be an option. You can actually nick 1 off dribbling and get his jumping up to 80. Maybe that would be a better build. I think on a deep line forward, yes, you don't want to really dip below the high 80s in attacking awareness, and his finishing isn't brilliant either, but passing is important, so I think it's worth sacrificing a little bit elsewhere to get that passing up. And if you are going to be using this guy regularly, through passing would be very, very important. He does have some pretty good skills on him. Long range curl is a good one. He could do with long range shooting. First time shot is a very important one, striker or SS, and he's a super sub, as we saw on in game before we went onto eFootball Hub. So yeah, striker or SS, I would build him roughly like that. It's not an amazing card, really, to be honest. If you really want a good version of Rutter, if you've not got that Player of the Week one, then I imagine you'll be pleased to get this one. But yeah, however you're building, whether it's like this, I mean, as you can see from the attributes, the only ones that are higher than sort of mid-80s, I mean, it's just balance, really. Apart from that, you got a bunch that are in the 80s, early mid-80s, but nothing's really standing out. It's not amazing in any way. So yeah, he's a kind of decent card, certainly usable. I think it just comes down to the playing style. If you like a deep line forward, it could be a decent one, but you might want to shuffle those points around like I did, make his passing better, and I would definitely recommend giving him through passing. Otherwise, with the auto allocation, in my opinion, passing is not great, and the finishing isn't that great either, so the end product's going to be a question. But yeah, either way, it's not a terrible card, but it's not one that particularly excites me, and if I picked him up for our spin in this pack, I'm not sure I'd be keeping him. But if you're a Brighton fan, maybe if you're a Leeds fan as well, possibly, and certainly if you like the deep line forward playing style, he could be a decent one for you. It could be a decent option again for the English League Challenge. These are all English League players, of course. Could be a useful option for you for that. But yeah, he's not going to be for everyone, and he's not terrible, but he's not an amazing card at all, this guy. And next we have Mikkel Damsgaard. So as with Lewis Cook, this is the first time I've had a featured version of this guy. He has a face scan. He's a roaming flank. I like a roaming flank, I've mentioned that before. Yeah, first time I've had a feature version. That's one of the good things about these league packs. You often get a bunch of players who we've not seen before, so that's good. What skills have we got on Damsgaard? So we've got long range curler, long range shooting, through passing, pinball crossing, heel trick's a nice one, soul control likewise. Yeah, we got a bunch of nice skills in this guy for an inverted winger coming off the left flank. Through passing as well means you could possibly use him as an attacking mid, potentially. Let's just jump over to eFootball Hub though. Let's have a look at how good this Damsgaard card is. So, all fully trained up. He looks alright. He looks reasonable. What have they done from his GP card then? We've not got any other special versions of him that we can compare him to, but compared to his GP card, at level 1 they have boosted... well, most of his attributes are up by between 2 and 4, 2, 3 or 4, but the biggest boost is on finishing and speed. They both had about 6 points put on them, so +6 on speed and finishing. That's decent. 2 important ones on a winger like this guy who's going to be cutting off the left flank and getting shots away. Yeah, that's a decent boost really. I quite like the look of this guy, to be honest. I like a roaming flank though. I'm a little bit biased towards the playing style. He's not the shortest though. He's not going to be, I don't know how nimble he's going to be on the ball, but he's got good attributes on the ball. Decent pace, good balance. I imagine he probably will feel pretty nice on the ball. Attack awareness is decent. A roaming flank will drift inside and get into some interesting positions, interesting spaces, both out wide and in central areas. Attack awareness will help with that. Passing's not brilliant. Finishing likewise could be a bit better, but he does have some good skills as we saw in the game just now before we went on to eFootball Hub. Got long range curler and long range shooting, and we got through passing as well. Yeah, I'm just looking at him thinking, what would I change? Would I tweak the allocation of points? I mean, the most points are on dribbling. It's the end product really that you could do with having boosted a bit. You could nick one off dexterity. I don't want to go below 80 on attacking awareness. I like to hit the 80 mark. Dribbling, I'm going to take just one off. If you take another off, that tight possession is going to go down by 2 from 88 to 86. I'm just going to take one off for now. That gives us 5 points at least. Yeah, it doesn't give us a great deal, does it? To be honest. Yeah, I don't think it's really worth doing much more. That last point, I'll just stick it on Ariel. I don't think you've got the scope for really doing a lot in terms of shuffling points around on this guy. I don't think it's a bad card. I just think with the end product, you're going to have to be careful. A lot of people with inverted wingers, you're just going to be focusing on shooting. You're not too bothered about the passing. If that's the case, you could just take the points all off passing, get his finishing up to the 80 mark. If you're going to focus mainly on trying to score goals with this guy, that might be worth doing. If it's the other way around and you're going to look to try and playmate with this guy, you could just do the opposite, put all the points on passing. You can get his low and lofted pass out to 78, or you could do what we had just now and just have a bit of both and get them to 76. Either way, you'll have to be quite careful with the end product. He's not terrible with any of these attributes, and he does have the skills to back them up. They're just not that brilliant, but he is pretty nice on the ball there. He does have decent attacking awareness, decent pace. Not a great deal of kicking power, but could be worse. Good balance. Yeah, as a left winger, right-footed left winger, pretty decent. Could you make him a right winger if you position trained him? The question would be the crossing, really, as a right footer. You'd have to scrimp a few points from elsewhere. Can you get that lofted pass up to 80? You can. Ooh, just about. Yeah, even at 80, his crossing is not going to be brilliant. He does have pinpoint crossing, but yeah, even with pinpoint crossing, 80 lofted pass, that's about as high as I think you can realistically get his lofted pass to be, and I don't think his crossing is going to be that great. It won't be bad, but he won't be brilliant. But he does still have some decent on-the-ball attributes and decent pace and balance, so you could make him a right winger if that's something you wanted to do. I don't think it'd be brilliant, but he certainly could do a job for you there. Through the middle, though, can you make him an attacking mid? I'm not confident his passing can be increased high enough. No, so if you go with auto allocation, they've increased the passing by 8. 78 on low pass. Yes, he's got through passing, but that's still not good. It's not good enough for me, so I wouldn't personally use him through the middle. Don't think he's going to have good enough passing to play through the middle. But I think whether it's with the auto allocation or whether you tweak the allocation of points, or if I just did a left midfield auto allocation, or go back to the left wing auto allocation. That's what he started on. Yeah, we'll leave him on there. Whether you shuffle the points around, try and improve the end product a little bit, or whether you just leave him as he is, don't think it's going to make a massive difference. It's not a bad card. This is a decent one. I don't think too many people are going to get overly excited about it, but I think you can certainly do a job. If you like an inverted winger, especially if you like a roaming flank, he's pretty tidy. He's got some good skills there. With the attributes he's got, it could be a useful one. Again, for the English League Challenge, could be well worth keeping hold of for that. So yeah, not the most exciting card, but I do think he's decent. I do think if his profile works for you, he could be one that could give you a bit of value. And for our goalkeeper, we have Matz Sels from Nottingham Forest. He has a face scan. He's an attacking goalkeeper, only standard form. Got low punt, got captaincy as well. Didn't realise he had captaincy. And this is the first version we've had of Matz Sels as well. So let's just jump straight over to eFootball. How good is this Matz Sels card? Let's max him out, all boosted. He is decent. He's not amazing, but he's pretty decent. I would quite like this guy for my Newcastle past and present squad, to be honest, even though he's absolutely rubbish for us. But this is a decent looking goalie, to be honest. Obviously, the awareness is great. Catching is not so great, but everything else is pretty decent at least. The parrying is pretty good at 88. Reflexes at 90. Reach at 89. He's 6'2", so yeah, the height's okay, the reach is okay, but not particularly great. He's not got amazing coverage of his goal. Could we shuffle some points around? I reckon so. Before I do that, what if they change from his GP card? So at level 1, what they've changed from his GP card, I'll just run through all the goalie attributes basically, because that's all they've really changed. So awareness is up by 3, catching is up by 2, parrying is up by 10, reflex is up by 2, and they put 4 points on reach. So the big boost clearly is on parrying, so that's a big difference maker from his GP card. It's a decent boost on the whole, but especially his parrying, putting 10 points on parrying, that really makes him much better than his GP card, so that's good. But yeah, could we just shuffle points around, maybe balance him out a bit? It'd be nice if we get the parrying and reach up to the 90 mark. Let's see if we can. Let's just leave goalkeeper at 90, but we'll take a few off there. Where's that reach? Ooh, it's that one. I always forget which one's which. Oh, hello. You can boost them up a bit. It'd be nice to get the awareness back up a bit, but if we increase the reflexes instead, then the catching goes with it, and that is a bit low. So I'm going to go with the reflexes. And then the last point, I'll just stick it on passing, because his low pass is horrible. And that goes up by 2, apparently. Nice. Yeah. I think that's a little bit better. We've lost a few points off the awareness, but parrying, reflexes, reach, all 90 plus now. A little bit more on catching as well. I think it's a decent keeper, to be honest. I don't think there's anything outstanding about him. He's a pretty average height. The attributes are pretty much, I don't want to say par for the course, because they're good. But we're seeing a real power creep coming into play in the game. Obviously, it's been in play for a long time in the game, but looking at these attributes a year ago, you'd be thinking this is a great keeper. There's quite a lot of keepers with stats this high these days, but that's not to say he's not a good keeper. This is a good, solid keeper. Like I say, if I was spinning this pack, and I'd be very happy to get this guy from my Newcastle past and present. I think he's very tidy. Got low punt. That's the most important skill, I think, for most people on the goalkeeper. And these attributes, yeah, the catching is not brilliant, but the rest, the way I've trained him there, all 90 plus is great. Or even if you go the auto allocation, except the parrying and reach being a little bit lower than 90, that awareness at 93, you might prefer that. Reflex at 90 still. So yeah, whether you shuffle the points around or not, this is a good, solid goalkeeper. And again, for the English League Challenge, could be well worth keeping hold of for that as a goalkeeper option. He's having a pretty decent season for Forest. Form's actually pretty up and down looking at this chart up here though. He's had quite a few D's and E's as well, but he certainly had a few weeks of A and B form as well. So yeah, could be a useful goalkeeper to keep hold of for the English League Challenge. And just in general, I think he's a good, solid goalkeeper card, this. And next we have another deep lying forward. So Marco Asensio is currently a deep lying forward, centre forward in the game. I did not realise he'd been playing centre forward in real life. He was in Player of the Week recently, last week I think it was. I said when I was reviewing that one, I hadn't realised they'd changed him to a centre forward, deep lying forward. I guess that's how he'd been playing for PSG. I don't think he's playing as a centre forward for Aston Villa certainly, but yeah, he's got a face scan. He's pretty old now. He's still got most of his old positions, but I'm pretty sure he used to have left mid and left wing forward. I think I noticed that when I was reviewing his Player of the Week card. They've taken away left mid and left wing, but he's got centre forward and SS nowadays. Only inconsistent form, that's a bit of a shame. And then skill wise, I'm pretty sure he's got some good ones here. So yeah, soul control, long range curler. So if you play him off the right or through the centre, of course, the long range curler is a very good one to have. Makes a big difference with your curling shots. Long range shooting as well, dipping and rising if you like that sort of thing. And he's also got through passing, outside curls handy, super sub as well. Nice super sub. Let's jump over to eFootball. How good is this Asensio card? So, trained up, maxed out. He's alright. He looks decent. The first thing I say is he looks a bit better than Georginio Rutter did as a deep line forward. We've had a few versions of Asensio to compare him to, though, so they've all had a different profile in the past with Asensio, because he's had different playing styles and so on. There was a PSG Player of the Week card of Asensio. This one is better than that card, a bit better. There was the one I mentioned, the recent one, the Player of the Week whole player version of Asensio. They made him a whole player, and to be honest, in all positions, pretty similar to this one. Obviously, a different playing style. Whole player is very different to deep line forward. Depends on which position you play him in, because the deep line forward, that's only going to be active as centre forward and SS. Whole player will be active at SS, attacker midfield, centre midfield, and right midfield. So yeah, the play style's a big difference between this one and the Player of the Week card. Obviously, a whole player will be bursting forward and getting into spaces all the time. A deep line forward, if you play him at centre forward or SS and you have that playing style active, we'll try kind of doing almost the opposite and dropping deep, getting involved in the build up. But yeah, in terms of his attributes, his overall ability, very similar to the Player of the Week whole player card, the recent one. Obviously, the stats are kind of shuffled around a bit, but pretty similar on the whole. There's been a couple of trainable versions of him from when he was at PSG. Both from kind of legend boxes. Those were both right wing, and to be honest, not a lot of difference. This one's a bit better in just about every position. If you train him in different positions, these are obviously trainable cards. Whatever position you train him in, he's a little bit better than those previous trainable ones, I think. So yeah, it's a pretty good version of Asensio, this. Arguably the best, but like I say, that Player of the Week with the whole player playing style, very similar, just a different kind of profile and playing style. He's had a pretty decent boost from his GP card, so most attributes up by 2, 3 or 4. The only one that really stands out that I can see is physical contact, that's gone up by 6. So not the most important attribute, but I'll take it, because physical contact does make a difference in the game these days, especially. And it always has, but certainly since the big update last year, physical contact is important. So +6 on that, not a problem. I'll take that. He's had a decent boost. The question is going to be, where are you going to play him? You know, do you want to use him as a deep line forward, as a striker or SS? I think the attributes work reasonably well. I think as a centre forward with that playing style, low pass 75, I'd like that to be closer to about 80, but he does have through passing, so I think that build would be okay as a deep line forward. He's pretty tidy on the ball for centre forward. Awareness and finishing at 88 is alright. Speed and acceleration likewise, got a bit of pace. He's always had good kicking power, Asensio. I've always enjoyed hitting long shots with this guy. I had a couple of versions of him on pairs back in the My Club days. I've actually got the Player of the Week, the whole player one that just came out last week as well. I've only tried that a little bit against the AI, but he's still got those powerful shots in. He's got a bit of balance as well, and that boost to his physical contact. Not great stamina. Could be worse though. So yeah, I think as a deep line forward, centre forward, not a bad kind of balance of attributes. If you're going to play him as an SS a little bit deeper, I think passing would become a little bit more important. Where could be scrimp some points though to get his passing up a bit. You could argue that the pace isn't so important then. Maybe you could take away those points from aerial. We've gained 6 anyway, we'll take 4 from there. In fact, there's no points on passing. Same with Rutter. It's interesting that. I guess it doesn't factor the play style in with your allocation, it just thinks he's a centre forward. But a deep line forward is not your everyday everyday striker. So at least we can get the passing up to 79 if we put those 4 straight on there from aerial. Let's just nick one from dribbling. Oh, we need 2, don't we? Damn. I tell you what, speed's not so important on deep line forward. We'll nick a couple from the lower body. That can get to 80 low pass. Now we've got 2 left. We'll put him back on aerial, get his physical contact to 70. Boom, there we go. Yeah, maybe as a centre forward, but certainly as an SS, playing a little bit deeper as a deep line forward. That gives you better passing. He's got through passing. I would recommend one-touch pass if you're going to give him some skills. Apart from that, he's got most of what he needs. First time shot though, actually. How could I forget? That's the most important one, a centre forward or an SS. It's slightly less important on a deep line forward, but still well worth putting on him. I would definitely recommend that. So first time shot and one-touch pass, I think are the 2 that I would look to put on Asensio. But yeah, as a deep line forward, if you like that playing style, I think you can train him to fit that playing style pretty nicely as a centre forward or an SS. It looks pretty tidy. In terms of other positions, you've got a few. As a centre midfielder, there's no way you're going to make him good enough defensively to make him a centre mid. He's not got any defensive skills either. If you're going to play him any deeper, then you might as well just make him an attacking midfielder. If you do that, his playing style will not be active anymore because deep line forward isn't active in any other position apart from striker and SS. that might be a good thing for you if you wanted to use him as an attacking midfielder and not having a playing style. He's got pretty high attacking awareness. Obviously, it depends how you train him, but let's just see what the auto allocation tells us as an attacking mid. So we get a bit more on passing there. On the ball, loads. Okay, hang on. Let's just nick a few off the ball. I want that passing higher. 86 low pass. Can we get one more on low pass? Get it up to the 88 because we get that increase of 2. We probably can't, can we? We need one more point. Damn it. There we go. One off finishing. Magic. There we go. Yeah. I think it looks pretty tidy as an attacking mid. So as an attacking mid, attacking runs is in the 80s. You won't have an active playing style, but you should make enough attacking runs there. Maybe not as aggressively as a whole player would, but I think enough. On the ball, all 90 plus. Low pass 88. I'd like it to be a bit higher, but we can't really go much higher. It would take too many points beyond 12 on passing there. But 88 you can certainly get away with. It's got through passing. Again, I would definitely give him one-touch pass as an attacking mid. Lofted 91 is great. Finishing 80 is decent on attacking mid, and he does have long-range drive, long-range shooting. And a very nice kicking power at 90 as well. We've lost a bit of pace, but I think the pace is fine on an attacking midfielder. Balance as well, we've lost a bit, but it's not too bad. It could be worse. So yeah, I think as an attacking midfielder without an active playing style, if you don't mind the lack of active playing style there, could be a very decent option there. Like I say, in my experience, he's got decent passing, but popping those shots off from long range with the shooting skills, with that kicking power, he's got a nice shot on this guy in my experience. So might be an option for you as an attacking mid. And then you just got left wing and right wing. He's already got right wing. As an inverted winger, let's just, again, I'll just go to auto allocation. Let's just see what the auto allocation tells us as a right wing forward. So we get a bit of pace back, very nice on the ball, less on passing, that's fair enough. Finishing still over 80 though, yeah, decent, pretty decent. I think, again, you could nick a few of those dribbling attributes. Get the low pass at the 80. Got 7 points left. I'm going to put them both in dexterity because that gets us to 88 acceleration and attacking awareness. 1 point left, still got an area or whatever. In fact, you could take that one off shooting just for OCD reasons, get the physical contact up to 70. Yeah, I think as an inverted wing off the right wing, he's not the quickest, but he's got a bit of pace about him. Decent pace, nice on the ball. Passing's decent for a wide man. He's got through passing, remember. Finishing at 80, curl 83, kicking around 92. He's got long range curler and long range shooting. Cutting off that right flank onto his left foot, he should have a pretty nice shot on him. Good attacking awareness as well. Again, he will not have an active playing style if you're playing as a right wing forward or a right midfielder, so yeah, I think he could be a pretty tidy option off the right wing, to be honest. He always has been in the past, but shaking off that deep line forward playing style, if you don't like that playing style, I think with that kind of a build, roughly, it could be a very tidy option that way. And then left wing, he's not got pinpoint crossing, has he? You'd need a bit more passing on him, I think. What can we do as a left winger? Take those off shooting and aerial. How decent can we make his crossing? I think, to be honest, you could probably get away with him just like that as a left winger. His left lofted pass at 85, curl 81, kicking power 92. If you gave him pinpoint crossing, I think you'd have a very decent cross on him. Not an amazing one, but a decent one. Pretty good on the ball. A little bit of pace about him. Bit of balance, good attacking awareness. Yeah, again, you'll be shaking off his playing style. You'd need at least one position train to get one of those positions on the left wing. But again, you could have a decent left winger for you on your hands there. So yeah, I think it's a decent card. This it's one of the best versions we've had of Asensio. It's going to may well come down to that playing style for you. Depends on what position you want to play him in, whether you like the playing style he's going to have in that position, or whether he's going to have no active playing style. But certainly he's got a good selection of skills, and depending where you use him, I think you can give him a pretty decent build in a bunch of positions there. So it's a versatile card. This he is a super sub as well. Again, for the English League Challenge, is it worth having a super sub like Asensio in the English League Challenge? I would say so. Yeah, this is a tidy card. This. Bunch of uses for him, and to be honest, if you do get this guy, I'd be surprised if you can't find a way to train him up and get some use out of him. I think this is a decent looking card, this one. And next we have Pedro Porro. So attacking fullback, right back from Tottenham. He has a face scan, he has unwavering form, and he has a decent selection of skills as well. So going forward, long range shooting, through passing, outside curler, low lofted pass. He can take penalties as well. Bonus, but then defensively as well, we've got man marking, interception, and sliding tackle. So you've got a pretty good section of skills for an attacking fullback, very good in fact. Let's jump straight over to eFootball and see how good this Pedro Porro card is. So it's pretty good. We've had a couple of player of the week versus Pedro Porro. There's one when he was at Sporting, wasn't so great. This one is better in both positions comfortably. And we've had one while he's been at Spurs, and the overall rating is about the same as this one, to be honest, but I think it's just really the low and lofted pass that the Spurs Player of the Week card has got over this one. Apart from that, I think this card is actually better than the Player of the Week one, the Spurs Player of the Week one. Not a massive difference. Obviously, the overall ability is the same, but I think it's just the low and lofted pass really that this one's lacking. Apart from that, I'll give this one the edge really. And there's one trainable version of Pedro Porro in some kind of Legend or Showtime box. Overall rating goes one higher than this, but it's pretty similar whether you're training for right back or right midfield. So yeah, I think this one's pretty close enough to that one. It's a good version of Porro. Compared to his GP card, the only two attributes that have had a bigger boost than the rest are physical contact and lofted pass, where they put 5 points on them. The rest of his attributes mostly up by 2 or 3. It's not a massive boost overall, to be honest, just really the physical contact and lofted pass. They're the only real big differences. But it's a decent version of Pedro Porro, this card. As I say, he's got good section skills. And looking at the attributes, down the left, he's very good getting forward. Low pass isn't so great, but lofted is good. On the ball, he's good. Attacking awareness at 80 is good. But I often say this with an attacking fullback, high attacking awareness, it does seem to result in them getting really high up the pitch, and they can be a bit more liable to getting caught out positionally. I find that with some of my fullbacks if I put too much attacking awareness on them. So it's something that I find. You won't necessarily find that yourself, but worth mentioning. Defensively, defensive awareness is a bit on the low side. Tackling likewise. So can we boost these up a little bit? Can we spare some points? You can definitely spare some off his low body. I always do this. You see the speeds in the 90s, kicking power, stamina's 97, insane stamina. We can definitely steal a few points in there. Yoink. So that gives us 9 points straight away. So now we just need one more increase on defending to get us tackling up to 80, and I think then I'll be happy. Where do we get those points from? I'm going to nick one from dexterity. That's 2. Where do I get one from? Passing or on the ball? I'm going to take off on the ball. I hate going below the 80 mark, but whatever. I think it's worth it. Get that tackling to 80. Nice. I think I'll just do that. We've got the pace. The acceleration is a little bit on the low side, but I think we can get away with that. The speed certainly is pretty decent. Kicking power, likewise. He's got good kicking power. Physically, he's all right. He's not particularly strong, but he's not weak. Balance at 80 is just about okay. Stamina's still good. We've nicked a few points, but he's still at 94. He's not going to get tired, this guy. We've improved the defending. I think he's reasonably solid now defensively. Nicked a point off his on the ball attributes, and his low pass isn't the best, but on the whole, I think he's all right getting forward. He's certainly got the skills to back up his attributes. Oh, and according to eFootball Hub, he's got goalkeeper long throw as well. It's amazing how many outfield players have got goalkeeper long throw these days. But yeah, this is a solid attacking right back. He's very much an attacking right back. If you prefer a defensive fullback, he might not be for you. He's got a bit of strength and a bit of defensive ability, but I think for those of you like a real defensive fullback, he probably won't make the grade for you, but you never know. You could put the defensive instruction on him, he can certainly do a job, but I think this guy's mainly going to be an attacking fullback for most people, and as an attacking fullback, I think he's got a pretty strong profile. I think the attributes are pretty decent. He's got good skills. Could be hand-on for you, and it's a good version of Pedro Porro. And in terms of other positions, I don't think he's going to be a good centre-back, but you could position training for centre-back if you wanted. Is he any good? Not really. Awareness is too bad. Tackling's bad, physical contact's bad, not happening. But he does, of course, have right wing. So, can you make him a right winger? I actually had his Sporting Player of the Week card. It's a cross specialist. I forgot to mention that. Cross specialist right midfield. Not a bad card. I ended up releasing it in the end. It just kind of got a bit outdated, as I mentioned with the power creep. I mentioned the power creep earlier. It's just wasn't so good anymore. It was all right at the time, but he did all right for me. He could cross the ball. He wasn't so bad on the ball. So as a right midfielder, I imagine this version of Porro would probably be decent as well. He's certainly got the crossing here. With the way they've allocated the points here, it's a pretty even build here. 8889. Lofted pass at 90. At curl 83. Kicking power 90. Yeah, this guy's going to have a very good cross on him. It's a shame his low pass is only 79. We could use the remaining 5 points to nudge his low pass up to 80. That might be worthwhile for you. Or if you wanted to just be better on the ball, you can get that increase from 86 to 88 in dribbling, and at the same time you get the ball control to the 90 mark. That looks pretty nice. You've got 2 points left. Put it on shooting, get the finishing up to 70. That might be the way to do it, to be honest. The 79 on low pass annoys me, but he does have through passing. I think you get away with that on a winger. You're certainly going to look at this guy as a winger. If you do use him as a winger, you're going to look at him as an old school winger. Right-footed on the right-hand side, whipping crossing. That's clearly what he's going to be best at. He's got pace. He's going to get up and down all game. He's not going to get tired. He's going to be pretty tidy on the ball. And like I say, that lofted pass with the curl and the kicking power and pinpoint crossing, his crossing is going to be really good. Decent attacking awareness as well. So, yeah, if you like spamming crosses, quite a lot of people seem to be doing that at the moment. could be a very decent option actually as a right winger. So there's a good option for you as well. So yeah, I think you've got a decent card here. I think you've got a very attacking right back. It could be pretty solid for you. And if you like this kind of old school winger, you like putting a lot of crosses in at the moment, he could be a very decent option as a right winger as well. So a couple of ways you could use him. I think for a lot of people, it could be a very decent option for you. And next up we have Maxence Lacroix. Max, we'll call him Max. Max Lacroix. Build-up centre-back from Palace. Give him a face scan, Konami. Come on. Inconsistent form. That's a bit of a shame. Skill-wise, all we got is a build-up centre-back. We've got heading and aerial, and then we've got man marking, insertion, blocker, acrobat clearance. You've got pretty much not all the skills you need for a centre-back, but I think the ones you got, the most important ones. If you're going to add skills defensively, I think sliding, tackle, and fighting spirit are the only two you really need, and then maybe there's a few passing skills might be worthwhile. But let's just have a look at how good he is. Let's jump over to eFootball Hub. So, how good is this Lacroix card? Pretty good. So, we have had two previous versions of Lacroix. Both when he was at Wolfsburg, and Wolfsburg's, pardon me, were a partner club back then, way back then. I had one of them. I had the Player of the Week one. To be honest, both the Player of the Week one and the Trainable one were both rubbish. They have not stood the test of time. I actually released the Player of the Week one, I think, about 2 years ago, because it had already become a bit outdated then. So that's how out of date those cards will be now. So yeah, this is quite comfortably the best version of Lacroix that we've had. And what they've done from his GP guide in terms of the kind of boost they've given him is an interesting one, because a lot of attributes haven't really been changed. But what they have changed defensively, we've got 5 on awareness, we've got 10 on defensive engagement, we've got 3 on tackling, and we've got 6 on aggression. And then we've got 8 on acceleration, and lastly 14 on stamina. And that's about it. So not a lot else has really changed at all, but certainly those attributes that have changed make a big difference. So this is an interesting version of Lacroix. He's got a lot of qualities. You see, obviously down the middle defensively, he's strong. Over here, aerial and physical, not brilliant. I would like to be a bit higher, but obviously it could be worse. But that speed at 90, you do not see many centre-backs with 90 speed. Yes, the acceleration is not amazing, but it's not bad either. 90 speed and 76 acceleration. This guy's rapid for a centre-back. Stamina as well is up to 85 with the boost. Yeah, this guy's looking pretty good. And I don't want to be a negative Nancy, but there are one or two slight kind of negatives. On the ball, he's not great. He's a build-up centre-back, and he's not comfortable on the ball, and he's not going to be able to pass it very well. So that's a bit of a shame. It's especially a concern when you consider his kicking power is only 66. I always say this, but you don't want low kicking power in general. It does make a difference, and especially when you're passing the ball around in defence. You don't want to underhit one of your passes in front of your own goal. That's not going to work, not going to end well for you. So low kicking power, low passing attributes, you're going to have to be very careful whenever you pass the ball with this guy. That's something to keep in mind. And like I say, in general, when you get him on the ball, I mean, the balance isn't terrible for a centre-back, but it's not great though. And his on-the-ball attributes aren't great. So yeah, be careful on the ball. Don't ask too much from him in general, especially with your passing. Be careful, because you don't want to be underhitting any of your passes. But certainly in terms of the rest of his attributes, he's pretty strong. Unfortunately, there's not a lot you can do in terms of shuffling points around, because they've gone all the way up to 14 on defending, and that's quite a lot. The last two, you could get 3 out of 4 points on each of them, but you're right on the 90 mark for tackling. Do you want to go below 90 for tackling? I don't. Aerial, we'd want to increase that, not decrease it. So then where are you going to scrimp points from? You're going to take points away from his speed when he's got such low kicking power. And you don't want to go below that 90 mark on speed either, because that's fantastic. And then it's just 4 on dexterity, and he's not exactly blessed with a great deal of certainly balance there. The accelerations are right, but I wouldn't want to take points away from there either. So honestly, I wouldn't do anything with the way this guy's built. I would just go with the auto allocation, and I'd just be very, very careful whenever he gets on the ball. Don't try and do too much dribbling with this guy, obviously, and certainly be very careful with your passes. But if you are careful to work around the kind of slight concern over how good he is on the ball, the rest of his attributes are pretty good. Like I said, the aerial and physical could be better. They're not bad. But I like them to be at least 90 plus, so I would say they're a little bit lower than I'd like. That is a bit harsh, I realise, but certainly elsewhere, pace is good for a centre back. That 90 speed's fantastic, and those defensive attributes are strong. I'm just going to check the vertical. What's his vertical reach? So he's on just shy of 278 centimetres. So yeah, he's going to be decent in the air. He's got aerial. Yeah, so physical and aerial might not be amazing, but he's strong enough. Defensive attributes strong, pace fantastic. Just be careful on the ball with that passing. You're going to have to be careful with that, not to give the ball away, but this is a very nice boost he's had from his GP card. It's clearly the best version of Lacroix that we've had. And yeah, it's a good, strong, good, solid centre-back card, this. And next up we have Pedro Neto, who is at Chelsea these days. We have a face scan, and we have a prolific winger, right wing, but he can play left wing as well. He can also play through the centre as an SS or as a centre forward. What have we got skill-wise? Got a few skill moves. We've got soul control, then we've got long range curler. All we've really got in terms of end product is long range curler. If you're going to play him on the right as a left footer, long range curler is probably the first skill you want on him, so it's an important skill to have. But you could do with one or two others. Maybe it's a one-touch pass and through passing. But let's just have a look on eFootball and see how good he actually is. Where are we? So, all boosted and trained. Yeah, passing skills might be needed on this guy because his passing is not great. So, I would look at one-touch pass and through passing. Finishing 79. Can we nudge up to 80? I bet we can. Yeah, this is a decent-looking Neto card. So, before I start shuffling the points around, we've had a bunch of versions of Pedro Neto. We've had a Player of the Week card. We've had a Player of the Season card. We've had a couple of training balls from Legend or Showtime packs. To be honest, they're all fairly similar. Maybe one higher or one lower in terms of overall rating, but they're all around about the same level. I don't see any massive difference, really. Just a few attributes slightly higher or lower here and there. What they've done from his GP card, what kind of boost they've given him. So they've boosted his tight possession by 9. At level 1, we've got 9 more on tight possession. Finishing is up by 5, as is kicking power. That's good. And then physical contact is up by 8. Interesting. So, yeah, apart from that, pretty mixed bag. Barely any change to his pace or his passing. A few other attributes up by maybe 2 or 3. But, yeah, really, it's the tight possession. That's a really good one to have boosted on him. I forget what it was in the Spanish pack. Was it Vinny Jr. had his tight possession boosted? But, yeah, when he's got such good ball control and dribbling, to push the tight possession up to match them is great. +5 in finishing and kicking power is good as well. That does make a bit of a difference. And in physical contact, he's still not strong, but +8, I'll take it. So, yeah, he's had a reasonable boost on the whole from his GP card. It's a good looking version of Neto. Like I say, it's pretty similar to the other versions that have been released. You know, if you've got one of those, you may well feel that you don't need this one. There's not a lot of difference really. Just a few attributes here and there tend to vary a bit, but yeah, it's a good Neto card. This, he's obviously good in the ball. He's rapid. He's got really good balance, good attacking awareness as well for a winger. You'd have to be careful with the passing, even if you give him one-touch pass and through passing. He's not going to be great at passing, so be careful there. Finishing at 79, like I said, let's see if we can nudge up to 80. So where can we spare some points? I think dexterity is the obvious one. If we nick a couple off dexterity, don't even need to nick a couple, do we? But just nudge that finishing up to 80. 2 points left. To be honest, I'm going to put him on passing, just 1 extra on passing. He's not going to make the world of difference, but he does need more points on passing. I don't think I'd want to take any points away from anywhere else. I think I'll just leave it like that. So he's still got great pace there. The balance, good on the ball. That finishing, just getting to the 80 mark looks nicer. Got good kicking power and he's got long range curler. So yeah, playing him on the right, cutting inside into his left foot. Can score some goals for you. He looks decent, this guy. I think the dribblers will probably like this guy. He's got quite a low centre of gravity. Pace on the ball, balance. Yeah, it could be a nice option for you if you like a quick winger who's good at dribbling. Yeah, it could be a very nice option indeed. It looks like a good Neto card, this. He does have other positions. Are you going to play him on the left as a left footer? I mean, he can't really get his crossing that high. He's not got pinpoint crossing, has he? Could try at least. You'd have to sacrifice some points from elsewhere. It's not what I really want to do, but you could make him reasonable, I guess. Got 3 points left over there. Give him a bit of speed back, I guess. Yeah. You could make him a left winger, give him pinpoint crossing, get us lofted up to 80. He can have an okay crosser, not a brilliant one. I don't think he's really a brilliant option as a left winger. Certainly could do a job for you though. He's got those positions already, so you don't need to position train him. You just need to give him crossing. So it's an option for you if you wanted to do that. Through the middle, let's just see what the auto allocation says. You could position train him for AMF, but again, you're going to get his passing good enough? No, you're not, are you? So again, 78 low pass is not high enough. Good on the ball, good attacking awareness, pace, and all the rest, but they've gone up to 8 on passing. It's still only 78. Attacking midfield for me is out of the question. Even if you give him one-touch pass and through passing, those passing attributes are not good enough. But as an SS, maybe. Passing not quite so important there. If you gave him one-touch pass and through passing, you'd probably get away with that passing. If you're going to focus more on getting into good positions to get shots away, you could get away with them as an SS, maybe. Maybe we just nicked a few points from elsewhere. Just the nudges passing up to 80. Yeah. Yeah, SS, maybe. I don't think it'd be brilliant as an SS, but you could certainly be decent. It's going to be still going to be nice on the ball, even taking a few points away from the on-the-ball attributes. Centre forward, you'd have to give him first-time shot. You would definitely need to give him first-time shot. Let's just see what the auto allocation says. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. The finishing's not high enough at 83 though. But we've got 90 attacking awareness. We've still got that. We've got insane acceleration now and balance. You could scrimp a bit for attacking awareness. I don't want to really go below 90, but we need to because we need more on shooting. Is there much else we can do? No. Can we get that shooting up one more? Because we're going to go from 86 to 88. Oh, we can nick a few off lower body actually. Let's do that. And we've got 5 left. We're going to put them on. Some speed back. Now we're getting better on the ball. Yeah, you could get away with him as a centre forward. You'd need to give him first time shot. But you'd have good pace, balance, very good on the ball for a centre forward. Awareness and finish, you can get them both at the 88, which is very decent. Passing's not too bad for a centre forward. First time shot's the only one you really need to give him. Maybe he's acrobatic finishing as well. But he's got long range curler. And he's going to be very nice on the ball. So yeah, could be an option as a centre forward for you. Give him those 1 or 2 skills. Could be a cheeky centre forward. But I imagine from most people, is kind of main position, right wing is going to be where you're going to want to put him. And like I say, he stacks up pretty well against previous versions. There's 1 or 2 maybe they go 1 higher overall, but not a lot of difference. He compares pretty well, pretty much par for the course really for a Pedro Neto card, and it's a good one. Got the pace, got the trickery. If he's your kind of player as an inverted winger with the pace and the dribbling ability, it could be a really fun one. So yeah, it's a good card, this one. And now we have my boy Sandro from Newcastle. Anchorman, defensive midfielder. Has a face scan, of course. Only standard form, bit harsh that. I don't think I've ever seen him have a bad game. He's pretty consistent. Skill-wise, as is always the case with Sandro, you got most of the skills you need really, but you could do with through passing. And then it's just defensively, do you want to give him more defensive skills? It comes down to how much defensive responsibility you want to give him. As an anchorman, he's going to be staying back. He's not going to make forward runs if you're playing as a defensive midfielder. So in that case, you probably would want to give him defensive skills. I think man marking and blocker are the 2 you'd start with. So yeah, through passing, man marking and blocker, those are 3 skills I'd like to give him straight away. You can play him as a centre midfielder without an active playing style, so he will start getting forward a bit more there. I would still give him through passing then, but it's not quite so important giving him any more defensive skills. But yeah, let's jump over to eFootball, but we'll see how good this Sandro Tonali card is, and it is good. I've looked at previous versions of Sandro Tonali. Certainly in terms of trainables, this is, I make it about the best version we've had of him. I don't think we've had a trainable version of Tonali that goes this high. As you see here, it goes up to 100 in the game plan. We've had a couple of Player of the Week versions of Sandro Tonali. They are both box-to-box though. Interesting, his Player of the Week cards are both box-to-box. The rest are always an anchorman. I was lucky to get the first Player of the Week one when he was at AC Milan. It's still a really good card, really good centre midfielder. Just lacks the through passing skill really. And the recent one went from Newcastle, from when they played against Southampton. That was a box to box as well. This one's pretty similar to be honest, in terms of overall ability and everything. Pretty much the same level as both those Player of the Week cards, but different playing style. Obviously, anchorman compared to box, very different. Box to box will be active both defensive mid and centre mid, and you'll get up and down the pitch a lot. Anchorman, he'll stay back as a defensive midfielder, but as a centre midfielder, he'll get up and down. Maybe not quite as aggressively as a box to box, but he will get up and down more. And yeah, like I say, as a trainable version of Tonali, if you discount the 2 box-to-box Player of the Week ones, which have got a very different playing style, obviously, I make this the best trainable version we've had of Tonali. He's had a decent boost as well from his GP card. Nothing really stands out. We've got a lot of attributes boosted by 4, 5, or 6. Really, nothing really stands out as being boosted a lot higher than the rest. Just a pretty good boost across the board. So as an anchorman, is he any good? Yeah, he's pretty good. Defensively strong. On the left, he's alright. He's okay on the ball for a defensive mid. Passing's good. The pace is decent. Kicking power's pretty good. He's got a bit of physical strength. I'd like it to be a bit higher on an anchorman. Bounce is decent. Stamina's fantastic. So yeah, it would be nice if we could nudge the defending up just 1 to get those 2 from 89 to 90. But we're already on 12 for defending, and I'm looking to get his physical contact a bit higher. So to be honest, I'm going to go a bit lower on defending. I'm just going to take 1 away because if you go 2, then you see those 288 is going to dip to 86. They're around that mark, so I'm just going to take 1 away from defending and get to 79 physical. We just need 1 point to be able to get his physical contact to 80, and I'm going to take it from dribbling. Boom, there you go. So not exactly major surgery we've performed there, but I think it's nice enough to get the physical contact up to the 80 mark. I think this is a really tidy looking defensive midfielder, to be honest. I think he could certainly do a job if you held him back as your lone defensive midfielder, like a single pivot. He could certainly do a job for you there. But in a double pivot as well, he's certainly technically sound. He's got nice passing. As I mentioned at the start, through passing, I think is something he'd really benefit from, even as an anchor man. And also man marking blocker if you're going to play him as a defensive mid as well. If you moved him a bit higher up and had him as a centre midfielder, you don't need quite so much defensive strength, so you could go down to maybe he's 8 on defending. And then that would allow you to boost his dexterity a bit. I think that's worthwhile. Bit better on the ball as well. Yeah, I would probably do something like that. Leave him at 80 of physical contact, because I think that's important on any kind of midfielder, defensive or centre midfielder. Defensively, still pretty strong, even after taking a few points away. He's not amazing on the ball, but he's tidy enough. We're still leaving him at the 90 mark for low and off the pass. Through passing even more important on a centre midfielder, so definitely give him through passing. But I think if we just gave him through passing, he can get away with it. That's all we really need to give him, to be honest. And you can have a very solid centre midfielder on your hands. So yeah, defensive mid or centre mid, however you kind of shuffle the points around. He could do with 1 or 2 skills, but this is it's one of the best versions of Tonali we've had. I think it's the best trainable version. And he stacks up pretty well against those 2 Player of the Week cards, which are very good cards, albeit they have different playing styles. So yeah, obviously I'm a bit biased as a Newcastle fan, but this is a very good defensive mid or centre mid. And I think whoever gets this card, you should be very pleased with it. I think you've got a very solid option in your midfield. And this is another very good card. We've got Ibrahima Konaté from Liverpool. We've got a build-up centre-back. We've got a face scanner course. We've got unwavering form. We've got a decent selection of skills to start with, although we could do with 1 or 2 extra ones. So what do we need? We need heading. I don't know how good his heading is. It's all right. I think it's probably going to be right when he's trained up. We'll see in a second, but we could maybe do with heading. But blocker is the first skill I'd like to put on this guy. He definitely needs blocker. And then maybe his fighting spirit. So yeah, maybe heading, but certainly blocker, and I think maybe his fighting spirit as well. Some skills he could do with. But let's have a look on eFootball how good he is, because this is a good Ibrahima Konaté card. So all boosted up, as you can see, really strong centre-back card this. So defensively down the middle, really strong. Physically, he's an absolute bully. He's super strong physically. The jumping of 89, it might not be amazing in itself, but he's 6'4", 6'5". He's a big, tall guy. And he doesn't always have jumping that high, so jumping height is over 280 centimeters. He's really strong in the air, and physical contact is important in the air for winning those aerial duels as well. So this guy on the ground and in the air defensively, this guy is going to be really strong. He's also got decent pace. So yeah, I make this the best version we've had of Konaté so far. So we've had a bunch of versions of him. We've had a few Player of the Week ones. To be honest, even there's a booster Player of the Week card. I think even that card's not quite as good as this one. He's been in the previous Premier League pack as well, and there's one in the penalty game as well, which probably I imagine a lot of people have got by now. I've had it like 4 times by now. I'm sick of getting it from that one. But yeah, I don't think any of those are good as this. This for me is a really, really good card. It's the best version of Konaté that I've seen. In terms of what they boosted from his GP card, they put 5 points on his speed, 8 points on his acceleration. They've put 5 on his balance, and they put 8 points on his jumping. That's massive. That's a real difference maker. On a guy who's as tall as Konaté, as physically strong as Konaté, boosting his jumping as they have done, and especially in a kind of in a time on eFootball when so many people are spamming a lot of crosses in for big physical strikers, this guy could be very, very appealing to a lot of people. He's very strong in the air, stronger than previous versions of Konaté, still very strong defensively, and he's got a bit of a boost on his pace. Yeah, this is a really strong looking centre-back card. So apart from those attributes, barely anything else has changed, to be honest. But I think it's fair to say that just boosting those attributes as they have done is enough to make it a very good version of Konaté. Again, not to be a negative Nancy. I know I said similar with Lacroix from Palace, but build-up centre-back, not got great kicking power, not got a lot of balance, really not comfortable on the ball, and his passing is not brilliant. So you're going to have to be careful on the ball again. I don't want to put it down on him, and I'm not going to suggest that this is not an excellent centre-back, because it is, but you are still going to have to be careful when you get on the ball with this guy. When you get the ball with this guy, don't try and move around and dribble and stuff, and be really careful with your passes, because you don't want to underhit your passes. We all know what passing is like in this game. You never know where your passes are going to go half the time, so be very careful. Keep it very simple with this guy. Keep the passes simple, otherwise just hoof it downfield, because with dodgy passing attributes and low kicking power, there are going to be times when that doesn't end well for you. So be careful with that. It's something to be mindful of. Again, like I say, I'm not saying that makes it a bad card. This is clearly a very good centre-back card, but there is that one slight downside. He's not going to be great on the ball, and there is a risk with your passing. So be careful with that. But the pace is pretty good for a centre-back, especially on a big physical guy. Stamina is decent enough. And like I say, the aerial and the physical, I mean, it'd be nice to hit the 90 mark on jumping. Not going to make a massive difference, but I mean, you could take 2 off defending, then free up 8 points. Can we make him just an absolute monster in the air? Yes. Let's do that. 1 point left over. In fact, should we just nudge his passing up, actually? Before I do that, how good can we get his jumping height? We can get his jumping height to almost 285 centimeters. So if you really want to make him an aerial beast, you want to deal with all the Jan Collars and the Showtime Nunes, whoever the big strikers are, Drogbas and so on, you could do that. Still 90 plus all your defenses, but on a guy who's like 6'4", 6'5", jumping 94, physical contact 96, good luck winning headers against this guy. Wow. But yeah, like I say, we could actually just take a couple of points away back from goalkeeper 1 there. And then put them on passing and get his low pass to 70. That might be a more sensible thing to do. Again, none of that will make a massive difference. We're just nudging 1 or 2 points here and there, but it just might be worthwhile. And in fact, you could even try and get that kicking power up to the 70 mark, to be honest. Maybe that's worth doing. There's a few things you could do there. Just a few ways you could shuffle the points around if you wanted to. So yeah, on the whole, however you do it, it's a very strong centre-back card. I would say there's a slight concern with the kicking power and the passing. It's only a slight one. But yeah, you've certainly got a few points you can shuffle around. You can play with a few points, make them even better in the air. But even if you just leave them on the auto allocation, like I say, with the kicking power and the passing, it's not a massive concern, just something to be mindful of. And even on auto allocation, it's really strong defensively, super strong physically. He's going to be really good in the air, better than any previous version of Konaté. He's got a bit of pace and stamina. This is a very strong centre-back card. And we finish up with Kevin De Bruyne, who still has that weird face gown with weird hair. I just don't know what it is about that face gown. It's just weird to me. But yeah, Kevin De Bruyne, creative playmaker, attacking midfield, unwavering form. He's got the skills you'd expect from De Bruyne. Long range shooting, one touch through passing, crossing. Yeah, great session skills for an attacking midfielder. Let's see how good this De Bruyne card is on eFootball Hub. And it's pretty good, but it's not amazing. So we've obviously had quite a few versions of De Bruyne up to this point. We've had, I'll make it 4 Player of the Week cards. One was pretty similar to this one. Overall rating is about the same. Stats kind of shuffled around, but all the Player of the Week cards have a slight, the points kind of shuffled around a bit. Sometimes they're better on the ball, sometimes a bit better passing. I think there's only one that's had pace like this one, though. We'll come to that in a moment. I think that was the Belgian one. There are 3 that had a booster, all a bit better than this card, to be honest. So, yeah, compared to the Player of the Weeks, I think only 1 out of the 4. I think this one only this card only really compares to 1 out of the 4. The other 3 have boosters, and they're all a bit better than this one, especially that Belgium whole player one. I think another one had the whole player playing style as well. And in terms of trainable versions of De Bruyne, we've actually had a bunch that are better than this, to be honest. A Showtime one obviously was better than this one, but there's a bunch of other ones that are a little bit better than this card, to be honest. But there have also been a bunch of cards that are either about the same as this or not quite as good. So it's kind of, I would say, middle of the road for a De Bruyne card, to be honest. But I did mention with the pace, that's the one thing that's really significant about this De Bruyne card, and because it's pretty much all they've done from his GP card. All they've really changed is they put 11 on speed and 10 acceleration. They've given him a big boost on his pace, and they've not changed anything else really. There's like 1 or 2 attributes that have been increased slightly, but it's really just a boost to his pace, and apart from that, not a lot of difference. Certainly at level 1. So yeah, if you wanted De Bruyne to have a bit more pace, then this card might really appeal to you. But if you're not really bothered about the pace, probably won't, because like I say, we've had better versions, and he's kind of very middle of the road for me compared to previous versions. It might just depend on which version you got, but certainly this version of De Bruyne, it does have more pace. So yeah, it's pretty much any De Bruyne card's a good card, but it's just a question of what version you've got. But it could be a very good card for a lot of people. You could actually give him even more pace. So if you wanted to really home in on the pace, you've got so many points here on the technicals. You could take 4 off passing and stick them all on lower body. 85. Can we get even more on lower body? Let's see. You could nick a couple of his on the ball. It's a bit of a shame, but still 90 ball control. But yeah, you see there, you can get this Kevin De Bruyne up to 88 speed, 96 kicking power. I always feel I don't have a De Bruyne card, but I've used them a few times in co-op and so on. I had a previous one that I got rid of that I used a few times, and I always feel like the De Bruyne's player idea includes a bit of a sneaky boost on his kicking power, because he always seems to absolutely leather the ball. I love pinging long shots with De Bruyne. 96 kicking power. I'll be interested to try that, and certainly with the pace. I don't think I've seen De Bruyne that quick before. Yes, you're not going to be as good on the ball as a lot of previous De Bruyne cards, probably the majority of previous De Bruyne cards, but he'll still be tidy enough in possession. He's still going to have good passing there, good attacking awareness. Just that speed. If you really wanted to make the most of what's different about this De Bruyne card, that might be it. Getting that speed up as high as it is. Speed 88, acceleration 88. It could be a very interesting card. But like I say though, if speed's not really important to you, if you're more bothered about the technicals, especially on a creative playmaker where pace isn't quite so important, it might not be the best version for you. You could just take a bunch of points back from lower body there, go all the way back down to 4. I mean, I'll just leave it on auto allocation. Where are we there? Yeah, I mean, you could easily take a couple of passing and get his finishing up to the 80 mark. That might be nice. That if you're not bothered about the pace, then that might be the build for you. And he's obviously got a great session skills, as I mentioned, with De Bruyne. There's not a lot he needs. Maybe his long-range curler would be a good one, actually. Maybe his first-time shot as well. Don't think he desperately needs either, but if you're going to give him any skills, I'll probably start with those two. But yeah, on the whole, pretty middle of the road for a De Bruyne card. It's not that special in terms of how good he is overall. It's just they've given him a boost to his pace, which not many De Bruyne cards have. That, like I say, that Player of the Week Belgian one certainly did. And one or two of the higher rated trainables, maybe there's a Showtime when he could probably make him about as quick as this, I imagine. But yeah, just on the auto allocation with only 4 points on low body, you get speed 81, and like I did when I shuffled the points around just now, you can get speed up to 88, which for De Bruyne is pretty unusual, and that kicking power as well. I do love a bit of kicking power on a player, and you can get that. If you get the speed up to 88, you get 96 kicking power. That's going to be fun. So yeah, it's not going to be a version of De Bruyne that's going to be exciting for everyone, because you may well have a better version. There have been quite a few versions that are a bit better, but he's certainly got more pace than most versions of De Bruyne have, so that alone might make it very interesting. So yeah, might not be the best version of De Bruyne, but depending on what where your priorities lie in terms of the attributes and so on, it could be a very interesting version for a lot of people. So there is your Premier League pack review. I think that's a decent pack. I don't think it's as good as the La Liga pack, but I do think it's still pretty decent. I think I've got a bunch of decent cards in there. Lewis Cook, not amazing, but certainly usable. Matz Sels, solid goalkeeper. Asensio, you've got a bunch of ways you can use him. He's versatile. I think anyone who gets this guy, you're bound to find some use for him on the right, on the left, through the middle. I think that's a pretty tidy, very, very useful card, especially for the English League Challenge. Damsgaard, not an amazing card, but could be handy if you like a roaming flank inverted winger. Could be a useful one for you. Georginio Rutter, I think him and Cook are probably the two that I find the least appealing in this pack. But if you do like a deep line forward, he could be a decent one for you. Depending how you train him, he could be alright, but he's not an amazing one to me. Lacroix, same with Konaté. You've got two very good centre backs there, but just be careful when you get them on the ball, because I know you don't expect the centre back to be good on the ball. It's not what they're supposed to be good at, but especially with the low kicking power, just be careful with the passing, especially. That's something that just slightly holds these two cards back, but they've got so many qualities elsewhere. I think most people would be fine with the kicking power, the technicals, and all the rest, because where you really need a centre back to be good, these guys are very good, especially Konaté. That Konaté card is really, really strong. Porro, if you like a very attacking right back or a right winger putting crosses in, could be a very tidy one to pick up. Neto, as an inverted wing off the right wing with the left footed, could be very, very, very tidy. If you like a quick, pacey dribbler, it could be a very nice card to pick up. Pretty much par for the course for a Pedro Neto card, which is not a bad thing. De Bruyne, all they've done is boost his pace, but they really have boosted his pace. So if you want a pacey De Bruyne, that could be interesting. Otherwise, there have been a lot of versions that are either as good or better. And then Tonali, I make that the best version of Tonali we've had, certainly trainable wise. And biased as I am, that's a very solid option as a defensive mid or centre mid. So certainly some good cards in there. A few that maybe aren't quite so great, but on the whole, it's a decent pack. I don't think it's quite as good as the Spanish League pack, but still think it's a pretty decent section on the whole. So yeah, there you go. So hopefully you found this useful. Let me know what you think of the pack. Thank you for watching as always. I will be streaming Monday around about lunchtime, I reckon. Don't know exactly what time, but yeah, I might be throwing some coins at Rivaldo. We'll see. I'm not fully decided yet, but yeah, hopefully I'll catch you for that stream. I'll try and get the Inter Milan pack review done as well over the next few days, so keep your eyes out for that one as well. Jump into the Discord if you're not already in the Discord. And yeah, thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your weekends, and I'll see you soon.